everybody. Welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 170. Aaron, we're going to jump into some Sharks action here. First and foremost, though, you had something that you brought up, and I thought it was a good idea for us to bring this up as well. There's been an incident in Half Moon Bay, several incidents actually. If you would like to let the people know kind of what we're alluding to before we kind of get on with the show, because we think it's important. We've done this before with other things that aren't hockey related, but it's important, especially to either sports or to the community, local to the Bay Area. So why don't you go ahead and just kind of go down that path here?
Yeah, unfortunately, there was a shooting in Half Moon Bay, which is not very far from San Jose. It's along the coast, kind of between here and San Francisco. And there were, unfortunately, 7 people that have perished. And it's extremely sad and very disappointing that this stuff is continuing to happen in our country. There was also another one down in Southern California as well. I think that was yesterday. Just a lot of stuff. Our hearts go out to all the families that were affected to this. It's very sad, and we are deeply hurt. We know some people that live in Half Moon Bay that this is shaking them up a lot. So it's very sad.
And as I said, it's difficult sometimes to kind of do this show and transitioning between things like this. But as Aaron's saying, there's people that we know, and it's important to kind of talk about these things and get this out there. Maybe some folks don't know about it. So, I just think that it's important to kind of reach out and let people know. Other people that aren't living in Half Moon Bay hear about this stuff. We're thinking about you. I know thoughts and prayers don't do a whole heck of a lot in the real world, but we are thinking about you guys, and we wish the best for you and your families. So there's that. Now, again, it's difficult, like I said, to kind of move on. But Debbie here, actually, absolutely heartbreaking that have been 4 mass shootings in 24 hours. Wow. I mean, there's definitely shows that would kind of talk more about this in greater length. But that's unfortunately not us. So we're going to move on from this and talk kind of some Sharks games and things here. But just, again, our hearts go out to the families and the community out there in Half Moon Bay. So Debbie saying, hi, everyone. Ben and Gunsry. Hi, gang. Yes, hello. Good to see you guys here again. Appreciate you guys popping into the chat. Aaron, we've had 3 games this past week for the San Jose Sharks. So we'll go ahead and kind of kick this stuff off. We'll play in a game in Dallas, actually in San Jose against Dallas. This is one of those games you had kind of tuned in and tuned out right away because they were down 3-0 first period, I believe. And then, the fourth line of all lines kind of sparks the Sharks a little bit, gives them some life. And yes, Aaron, Noah Gregor gets an assist to Steven Lawrence to kick it off, right? So, hey, he's grinding away.
He is, and he's getting his points now, so it's great, and not just goals. So he's hitting the score sheet. It's exactly what you want to see. And yet another game with no Kevin LeBanc in the lineup. So they win, and a decisive win. Now, you said I tuned in and turned it off. That's not entirely true. I usually miss the first periods at least because I'm putting my kids down to bed. So I looked at my phone and went, oh, wow. Halfway through the second period when I'm about to turn on the game, it's 3-0. And I go, oh, geez, this is going to be bad. But then the Sharks stormed back and tied it by the end of the second. So you're welcome for turning the game on by midway through the second period. I will take full credit when credit is due. Thank you very much. But yeah, that was the first one. I think, in fact, I was watching it live and I texted you, or I put it in our Slack channel like, hey, look who scored, who got a point, didn't I? Pretty sure I did.
I don't know. I'm not really paying attention to it. I know what he is, buddy. I know what he is. I hope he gets 9 goals. I hope he gets to 9 goals.
Believe me, every time Gregor gets anything, I am sending it to Paul instantly.
Absolutely. Go right ahead. You know what? And I'm not too worried because my data plan won't kind of go any higher because you're not going to be sending me too many texts or anything. So I'm not too worried about it.
Nice.
Maybe data plans are outdated. I don't know anymore.
Yes, they are absolutely outdated. You just dated yourself.
Oh my God. Hey, the Fin Factor, where you get all your outdated references. So there you go. Hey, we've got a tweet here from Darren Stevens. But before we show that, Yeah, basically they just stormed back. They tied it up 3-3, end of the second period. Third period, they jump in there and we get a goal and an empty netter. And it was just nice that Erik Karlsson said post game, it's nice to have the empty net the other side once in a while, because generally they're behind and they're trying to pull the goalie and get one in there, and it's an empty net goes in against them. So it was nice for us to throw it into an empty net for once. It's a good thing there. So let's go ahead and show this tweet actually from Darren Stevens. Got some pretty nice information in it. Aaron, go ahead, take this one.
Sure. Darren Stevens is a Uber Sharks facts guy, and he tweets out a lot of stuff that's kind of cool. So here's one of them. 7th time in team history, the Sharks overcame a 3-goal deficit to win. The last time was on December 7th, 2017 versus the Hurricanes, where they were down 3-0 and then 4-1. And it's only the 4th time they did so in a regulation win. The last time they came back from 3 goals in regulation was February 1st, 2011 versus the Arizona Coyotes. They were trailing 3-0 and ended up winning 5-3, with Alex Stalock winning in relief in his NHL debut. That's a pretty amazing stat right there. Some throwbacks. Alex Stalock probably coming in for... Was Nabokov still on the team in 2011?
Oh, God, I don't know.
I think he might have been. Or it might have been Niemi.
Not a historian.
Probably Niemi by then. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing they did this in regulation. They did it against the Dallas Stars, who are a very good team. In fact, were they the best team in the West? They're kind of going back and forth with Vegas right now. So, of course, the Sharks beat them in regulation, right? Not anyone else, not any teams below them in the standings, but the team that's above them. So, yes.
Aaron, this is one of those things where we can look at it from the Sharks' perspective and say, all the right things, obviously, where this is a team that their identity is they're not going to give up. They may be down. They may be losing games. They may not be getting points, and they may be terrible all around, right? But they're not going to give up on you. We can look at it from that perspective. But I feel like, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong here, this might have been one of those games where Dallas just took their foot off the gas. Did you feel that way?
A little bit. I think it was more Dallas lost this game than the Sharks stormed back and beat them, I guess. Sharks outworked them.
I like that the fourth line was the one that sparked it, right? This group of guys that are kind of like that grinding type of line, right? I like that they were the guys that sparked it. And then from there, it was kind of everybody just kind of picked it up again from there, So
that's exactly what I was going to say. It's the energy line grinding away, and that got things started, got energy to the bench, and Dallas looked kind of a little flat-footed after that.
You know what they say? The worst lead in hockey is a 3-0 lead, right?
Nobody says that.
Nobody says that. You know what I say? I say Erik Karlsson had a hell of a night. Another 4-point night for this guy. Don't worry, folks. It's coming. 1 goal, 3 assists. For me, it's not the goal. It's the assists. It's the 3 assists. This tells, for me, this is what he does. He makes everybody around him better. If he had no goals and 4 assists, if we went the entire season with only a handful of goals and a boatload of assists, this is what Erik Karlsson does. He just makes everyone around him better. He finds those guys that are in those areas that are really hard to find, and he gets those really tiny, thin passing lanes, and he launches it right through it, and he finds people. And he's good for anybody. He's good for any line to play with. He's good probably with any team. We're going to talk about some trade rumors going on specifically with Erik Karlsson. He's just so valuable. And I understand people that didn't like him, when the Sharks first got him. He was injury prone, et cetera. Why are we paying $11.5 million for this guy? Honestly, this season, and we'll show it a little bit later on, he is doing an absolutely incredible job. He is not just back to form. He's having a career year. He hasn't been this good before.
Yeah, and I can't remember if it was this game. I think it was the post-game interview. This is the game I was on TNT, correct? I think it was a nationally broadcast one.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't remember. But in the interview, the post-game interview, they asked him, what changed? Is it your off-season training? Did you do anything different? And his answer was he went back to Sweden for the first time since COVID hit. So he hadn't been back to Sweden in the summers, and he trained there with his original trainer that he had from before he was in the NHL. And it kind of brought him back. It made a world of a difference. He also mentioned that his family life is much more stable and better than it was. They're settled now in San Jose because it's been a couple years. He's got 2 kids now, I believe. So he's just mentally in a good space in his life. All of this kind of plays into a part. So everyone always wants to know the magic answer. So like, what'd you do? Did you eat your Wheaties or something? Like, why are you all of a sudden so much better and back to where you used to be? And it's a culmination of things. And we are finally seeing a healthy Erik Karlsson. Obviously, he's already played more games this season than he has for any of the other seasons for the Sharks. And he's back to where he mentally was, and it's showing, and he's having a absolute career year right now. So kudos to him for going back to his roots, going back to Sweden for the summer and training with his original trainer and getting back to where he needed to be. And I'm sure the talks that he had with both Greer and Quinn in the offseason helped, probably telling him, Burns is now gone. You are the man that's on the power play. You're going to be doing everything, and the team will be on your entire shoulders, which I think he thrives on.
Absolutely. I think that had a huge impact on why he's doing so well this season. He is the man. He is the lone gun, if you will, on the blue line, the one that everybody looks to. And he's getting more quality minutes too, right? Instead of having to split it with a guy like Brent Burns, which absolutely you would have to. I mean, they're both such great offensive threats. Why would you have one play significantly more than the other? You have to split that time. So definitely with him kind of taking the brunt of those minutes, and especially, giving him the opportunity to play more offensive minutes and letting the other guys kind of take over some of the defensive minutes, right? When you've got 2 offensive guns like that, they have to play both sides of the puck more often if you want them to have that amount of playing time. Now they can focus on Karlsson playing more offensive, and my goodness, is it helping for his game? It did not help in the game against Columbus Blue Jackets, though. This is the battle of the bottom feeders there. And the Columbus Blue Jackets, worst team in the league. The Sharks blow not only a 2-0 lead, in which the Columbus Blue Jackets came back and tied it 2-2, but they also blew the 3-2 lead. So they ended up going ahead of them again after Columbus had tied it up, and they blew that one too. They ended up losing this one 5-3. The 5th goal being an empty netter. Which is hilarious because didn't Erik Karlsson just say it's nice when it's going the other way for once, and then the next game they lose with an empty net goal there too? Oh my gosh! So Aaron, what did you think about this game here?
I think Mike Greer went down to the locker room and said, "Hey, why are you guys winning? We need you to do what you need to do, especially to Columbus because they're below us in the standings." No, I'm just kidding. He would never do that. I don't know. It's bizarre. It's definitely a Sharky kind of game. Sharks kind of game, not Sharky like the actual mascot, but that's just the kind of ML this season. Just what's the mistake after mistake, simple things that need to get cleaned up and out of the game, and they're just not doing it, and they paid the price in this case. So they ended up losing this game, which is kind of sad. After coming back after a 3-0 or 3-0 comeback win the night or 2 nights before, and then going to this game where they blow it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I need to look up the stat, I'm going to look it up for the next show because I remember we're looking this up 2 seasons ago do you remember 2 seasons? I think it was 2 seasons ago. The Sharks had like the worst amount of time in the league leading a game. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember. I don't remember what season it was. I remember you bringing that stat up though.
I have a feeling, and I haven't looked at this, I have a feeling they might be the worst team that has had the lead the longest, if that makes sense. They always seem to score first. They always seem to score first in most games and have a lead at some point in the game and then lose it this season. And it's kind of sad because, I mean, I know I'm a fan. I want to see them win. We always talk about them losing to get a better pick, but I still watch them and I still root for them and I still want them to do good things and win games. But man, they seem to shoot themselves in the foot every time they get a chance, right?
Yeah. No, Ben's breaking it. Ben's breaking it down here. The EK65 is holding us back clearly from Bedard. And then he says, orange face dash orange dash raised dash eyebrow. I'm guessing that was supposed to be an emoji, but it just typed the whole thing out for us. Unless Ben is just typing that out to be silly, in which case, well done, Ben.
I have a feeling it didn't pop through our software correctly.
No. There was a post-game interview for this one too. Obviously, you going from a high, like you said, against Dallas, and then you go up against Columbus. and have this kind of a game. So we have a clip here, Coach Quinn, and this is kind of what he thought about the game.
We just stunk. We stunk on the power play. We stunk on the penalty kill. We stunk 5-on-5. Our forward stunk. Our defenseman stunk. We just stunk.
Yeah, that was from this past game, right?
No.
Okay, enough with Columbus. So then you move on to Boston.
We just stunk.
Boston. 4-0 loss to Boston. So this week, get this, Aaron, get this. This is great. This week, the Sharks played the best team in the West and won, the worst team in the league and lost, and then the best team in the league and lost.
On a back-to-back.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of swings. There's some emotional swings going on. You know what I mean? It's just goofy. So anyway, again, we have a post-game clip here. Let's go ahead and play this clip here, what Quinn had to say about this game.
We just stunk. We stunk on the power play. We stunk on the penalty kill. We stunk 5-on-5. Our forward stunk. Our defenseman stunk. We just stunk.
Okay.
I think we're going to use this for the rest of the season.
Oh, I'm using it. I'm using it, buddy.
Ben just said, boy, you can use that clip for almost every game.
He just did.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, having some fun on the Fin Factor here, folks. Hey, even if the Sharks are terrible, hopefully we're not. So anyway, yeah, we're having a little bit of fun with it. Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Super Jason, for that one. I'm crying over here. But Aaron, Boston, dude, they are no joke. Their record, I think they have like 5 regulation losses on the season so far. And they're just absolutely storming out ahead of everybody else in the league in terms of points. John Scott actually on Twitter, and you're welcome, Super Producer Jason. I did not ask you to get this tweet and put it out there. Yeah, Super Producer Jason hates tweets.
We just stunk.
So John Scott says, who's going to beat this team in the playoffs? It's a serious question. Who's going to beat Boston? Because he just don't think anybody can. Aaron, I'd love to hear your take on this. Again, I'm not so much the fantasy hockey guy, so you have much more insights on basically the rest of the league. So I'm interested in what you have to say.
We are still a ways away from playoffs. Yes, Boston is a good team. Does the President's Trophy winning team win every year? Absolutely not. So I'm not going to say that John Scott is wrong, but we still haven't gotten to the All-Star game. There was a break, and some teams will be able to recoup some of their injured players. We haven't gotten to the trade deadline where they might be adding players. We're going to talk about this later. Like Timo Meier might be signing with one of those teams in the East. That will be a huge change for those teams. So, yes, right now, Boston is winning the Stanley Cup in January. So they're ahead of everyone else. They are absolutely firing on all cylinders. Doesn't mean they will be by, April when the playoffs start?
Mm-hmm.
Things will happen. So no, I'm not going to give Boston the cup right away. Yes, they look great. They're really amazing. I'm looking at, we were just talking about this offline before we came on, the goal differential, right? Yeah. You know what Boston's goal differential is right now?
Oh God, what is it?
Plus 81.
Oh my God.
Do you know what, who was the worst one? Anaheim. Anaheim was the worst one. Minus 86. That is a huge swing between the worst and the last. Boston has only given up 96 goals. The next worst team, 121. It's 25 goal difference right there.
Wow.
Right? Did I do my math right? I think it's, I did that right. Boston is just stingy team, and they kill you on the power play. So, yeah, they're a good team. I don't know if anyone could beat that top line right now with Marchand, Pasternak, and was it Bergeron up there? They're too good. But
Debbie sounding off here says, guys, I'm calling it a night. Go Sharks. At Super Producer Jason, keep up the great work. Yes, thank you, Debbie, and good night. She's always got to go to bed early. We say early, but I mean it's 9 something at night here. Noah Claxton, hold that thought, buddy. He says Timo and a third for Alexander Holtz and a first. I'm sorry, for Alexander Holtz a first and a second, or Timo for Lafreniere in 2 seconds. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna get there. So hang on to that. And Aaron just gave the thumbs up on the New York Rangers one. Ooh, maybe we got something to talk about there. Okay. So Aaron, thank you so much for giving us little insights on Boston there. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you. I think it's time, Aaron. We said we are going to do it. Again, he had the goal and 3 assists. So here we are kicking off segment on alternate captain Jack Karlsson.
All hands on deck!
Yes. Oh, I love it. Okay. 4 points on the week, Aaron. Unfortunately, all 4 points came in that one game. He's got 6 points in the last 4 games, though. 0 in the last 2. So there's your advanced stats from me. Anything you want to say about Erik Karlsson? My goodness, the guy's he's just amazing.
He has 62 points in 48 games, leads the Sharks by a wide margin. Also leads the NHL, obviously, for scoring title for defensemen. So, yes, I think he's doing pretty well.
He's doing quite well. We're going to actually jump into player card stuff. But before we do that, we're good here? We're going to close out?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, we're just opening and then we're saying a few stats and then we're closing.
Few stats. Yes? There you go. Yep.
Closing out.
Fire in the hole!
Oh my god. Having a little too much fun here. Player cards and trade rumors. Aaron, player cards are from the Athletic. Obviously, we don't want to show everything because we want people to go ahead and subscribe. By the way, if you are not subscribed to the Athletic, go ahead and check them out. They have sales all the time. Just give them a look. The guys that do the work there, really amazing job. Corey Massasak, Dom, what's his last name?
Lecision.
I don't know. I'm probably going to mess that one up. Anyway, they do a great job. Definitely give them a look. Check them out. That's where we go for the majority of our reading material, along with San Jose Hockey Now with Sheng Peng. Both of them really, really good. Give them a look. By the way, as long as we're talking about subscribing, if you're not subscribed to the Fin Factor, why not? You should be. So why don't you hit that subscribe button right there, hit the notification bell. That way you know when we are going live and you can join us in the chat. If you would like to support the show, you can do that. The best way would be to share. So if you can hit the share button, retweet, get us out there to your Sharks friends and family. Let them know about us, because if you like us, they probably will as well. So there you go. If you'd like to support the show monetarily, you can do that with either the super chat function, or you can go to Venmo, go at the Fin Factor. Anything that you put in there in terms of like a comment, we can read live on the show, or we can get to it to the next show. You can also go to thefinfactor.com, check out all the merch that's over there. You can buy hats, shirts, water bottles. Dang it, I keep messing that up. Hoodies, stickers, all kinds of stuff. So if you'd like to do that, do appreciate it. Thank you for that. Okay, Aaron, these player cards are pretty. Oh, there's the toaster with the sticker on it. Yeah. Hey, so I'm curious. That toaster doesn't get too hot on the outside where the sticker bubbles over and burns then, huh?
This thing's been on for years, and we just replaced it. So I've been using this for like 2 years, 3 years easily with the sticker on it, and never a problem. Doesn't get hot on that side. It gets hot on the top, not on the sides.
Okay, so it's more the toaster than the sticker. We have heat resilient stickers, folks.
Supposedly.
What?
Allegedly.
Okay, let's go ahead and pull up Erik Karlsson's player card, as long as we were just talking about him. The dude's salary is $11.5 million. Holy smokes. But if you take a look at the market value, he's worth 13.6. That's a surplus value of 2.1 million. So not only is he worth it, he's worth more.
That's amazing, because that's jumped from the last time we looked at it. I think he was just under 11.5.
Yeah,
I think it was closer to 11. So he was underperforming by $500,000, which I thought was ridiculous, because he had such a wide margin on the next best defenseman. So he should be the highest paid defenseman, right?
I mean, I would think. But the funny thing about this slide, though, is you take a look at this, and it's like percentile rank. He's in the 98th percentile for ice time, 100th percentile for goals, 100th percentile for assists and points, 99, 98, 100. And then you look at defense, 13th percentile.
Well, you
Oh
can't
my
win them
God.
all.
So the offensive defenseman really obviously focusing on the offensive part of the game.
Yep. You got the memo.
Anyway, yeah, no, I know there's a lot of people don't like the contract and everything else, but contract aside, you cannot deny this guy's value, both monetarily and just as a player on the ice. So there you go.
He's unbelievable and makes everyone around him better. So finally worth the price of admission, right? After 4 seasons.
PJ48 paid the price of admission here, $5. Actually, you don't have to pay $5. We're free to watch. But hey, I appreciate you supporting the show, PJ48. Keep up the great work, guys, he says. I do appreciate that. Obviously, I think he's talking to Super Producer Jason. We're just sitting here talking.
Absolutely.
All the fancy graphics and music and stuff. That's all that guy. So
nothing to do with us at all.
We just stunk.
I knew it he was going to do it. Oh my goodness. Zinxie sounding off with a Go Barracuda. Thank you, Zinxie. But we're going to stick to the Shark player cards here. But before we do go to the next guy, some trade rumors surrounding Erik Karlsson. Now, one of the things he was on this, I don't know what the name of the podcast is. I apologize. But Elliot Friedman, he was talking with Erik Karlsson. And one of the things Erik Karlsson said was his priority is I want to win, right? He's happy and comfortable here in San Jose, but he wants to win. That's at the top of his list of things to do in his hockey career. So, Aaron, talk to me about some of the trade rumors that are kind of going around. What do you think about this? I know that so first of all, Friedman had said Karlsson probably won't get moved until after the season is done, just because teams will have the opportunity to get themselves settled out with their cap space situation. It's really hard to shoehorn a guy that they weren't planning on putting on the team that's worth $11.5 million, right? So give me your take on this. What do you think in terms of a trade, when that trade might occur, and if you really want to get adventurous, where that trade might occur?
There's only so many teams that could take on a contract that large, because he's got another 4 seasons, I believe, under his contract left to go after this season. The reason he's saying after this season is over is there's a possibility of the salary cap going up by $4 million. If the players pay off their escrow, they would be able to go up by $4 million. If they don't pay it off, it's only going up by $1 million. So there's kind of a holding pattern for that. There's a number of players that might retire. They might be able to move some around, basically sell them off to Arizona in the offseason because they seem to take everything. And Matt Lowe just mentioned, isn't this Pierre LeBrun's article? I think it was Pierre's article, not Elliot Friedman. But Friedman, I believe, talked about who we're going to talk about next, Timo. But anyway, thanks for catching that. He's moving that kind of salary is not going to be easy. It's not impossible. And he also mentions, and I think Corey Masazaki even talked about this, or either Corey or Shang. I'm going to credit the wrong person here. Credits are wrong all around. I think teams want to see a second season like this. They don't want to see one and done, and he gets hurt next season, doesn't come back, isn't the same player as he was this season, because this season is his career year. So they want to see stability. They want to see kind of a consistency there. So they're probably balking at it a little bit. Plus the price. Apparently the price was so high that it was 3 first-round picks, which is not true. And we talked about this last week. Mike here clarified, saying that wasn't exactly accurate. I bet it was depending on who was trading for him. Now, if it's like the Bruins, right, the top team, and that's a first-round pick, that's a very late first-round pick, not a team that's going to have a mid to almost mid-late round first-round pick. So maybe that's what he meant by, if it's going to be a team like that, it's going to need 3 or 2, who knows. But yeah, I don't see him being moved. I don't really necessarily want Karlsson to be moved. I think, it'd be great to free up that much cap space, I guess. But then that back end is really thin, and there are 0 prospects right now to even fill those gaps. So the Sharks would be really bad. They would be even worse this season without Erik Karlsson, obviously. But if that was next season and they had nobody to fill those gaps, it's going to be a brutal next couple of years. So I could see Karlsson being a building piece. He's also not saying, Karlsson's not going to come out and say, yeah, I want to go to a contender, because then everyone's going to say, wow, he wants to get traded. He wants to get moved. And then he's going to get booed every game at home. Everybody's going to want him there because they're going to say you're not even trying, especially if he doesn't put up 4-point nights every night. He's going to get booed. So he has to play the politician and stay in the middle here and say, like, of course he wants to stay in San Jose. He loves it here because he does. His family's here, and who doesn't like being in California? Paul, this weekend, for those of you who aren't in California, the ice cream truck stopped by on our street, and we got ice cream in January.
Wow.
That's a good reason to stay, right? Like, kids love ice cream. They hear the ice cream truck, they want to get it. Anyway, my point being, San Jose does not suck to live in. It's pretty nice. If you can afford to live here, and Erik Karlsson can afford it, it's pretty nice.
Just barely.
Right.
Just you can afford to live here.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you for that correction, by the way, Matt. It was Pierre LeBrun's podcast. That podcast, and it's Ryan Rishog, I think is the other guy. It's called Got Your Back Podcast. I want to say that because I do want to give credit where credit is due, and the correct people here. So it was Pierre LeBrun. However, Friedman was the one I was referencing in terms of he thinks he won't get moved until after the season. So Friedman made that speculation, but it was on Pierre LeBrun and the other guy, Ryan's podcast, that they were talking to him about it. And he said, I want to win. That's where the I want to win quote came from. So thank you for helping us settle that one out. Okay. Let's move on to Timo Meier. Let's take a look at his player card now. And Super Producer Jason's going to throw that one up there. Now, his salary, $6 million, seems like a bargain, and it is. His market value, $11 million. That's a surplus of $5 million. Aaron, this guy's worth basically double.
Yeah, and his actual salary is $10 million, meaning that's the cash he's getting paid. Therefore, his qualifying offer would have to be $10 million. So yes, he's an RFA, but him and his agent specifically designed it for this to have his agent, who's Claude Lemieux, designed it to be like this, where a team will be like, I think it was who's the one that just moved from Calgary? Kachuk kind of the same thing. He didn't want to play in Calgary anymore, and he wasn't going to take their qualifying offer, and so he was going to be a free agent, so they traded him to Florida. Timo Meier is kind of in the same situation. He's an RFA, but he's almost in control of his own destiny in a way, because he would have to be qualified at $10 million, and that's a lot of salary for a forward. So is he worth $10 million? The player card says he is, but would he be worth that for multiple years? Probably not. I think that's another speculation, is that, and the other thing is Greer said that interested teams will be allowed to talk to him for trade talks, right? Sorry, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but Greer is going to allow interested teams to give them talks for extensions, which would only help in the trade that the San Jose Sharks would get in return, because if a new team is going to be able to trade for him, he wouldn't be a rental player. They would be able to sign him long-term. However, that would be either 8 years or maybe less, as long as he would agree to it. So that is good news, because if Timo Meier is traded and he's not signed with San Jose, the Sharks would get a much better return, assuming he would sign with the new team. That's only good things that could happen.
Yeah. So he's only going to let them talk to him if they've got a trade offer that he likes, though, right? He's not just going to let anybody talk to this guy. So
he doesn't have a restriction. Well, I mean, he could say no, he wouldn't want to sign with that team, sure.
Yeah.
But then Greer could just be like, well, I kind of like what they're going to give us.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If a team comes to Greer and says, here's what we want to trade you for, and he says no, he's not going to let them talk with Timo, right? He's not going to let him talk with him. But if
I see,
they come with an offer that Greer likes, he'll say, yeah, I like that deal. You can talk to him about an extension, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're probably going to get, like, as you mentioned, you're probably going to get a better deal when you know that the guy that you want to trade for is a guy that's not going to force your hand to give him $10 million for one season, right? So you can sign him to a $9 million contract for like 5 years or $8 million for 8 years or whatever else, right? So if he's not going to stand pat on that $10 million qualifying offer, right? You could put that extension into place. You're probably willing to pay a little bit more for the guy because you know that you're going to have him for that term. So yeah, and Claude Lemieux, his agent, said that doesn't necessarily mean the fact that other teams are allowed to talk to Timo if they bring an offer to Greer that he likes. Just because of that doesn't mean that Timo's days in San Jose are numbered. I mean, they can still work something out, them in San Jose. But I don't know. I don't know, Aaron. So we've got some thoughts about where a trade might work and who might be suitable. Now, you had talked about New York. I'm going to bring up the Devils really quick just because I saw a brief article that was just kind of interesting. I didn't read the whole thing through, but I just kind of flipped through it. Basically, that the Devils, New Jersey Devils, want to be buyers. They started off hot. They're petering off just a little bit. They still want to make that push to stay in the playoff hunt. And it essentially, and I'll just pull up the name of this place. It's all about the jersey.com, New Jersey, right? So they have basically had this article where they're saying that they should go all in for Timo. They should just dump everything they can and get Timo for a run right now. And of course, one of I think it was Noah Claxton that talked about some of the things that they should be able to get from him. And Holtz was one of those. Holtz in a first. Well, this actually is saying the same thing. This article is saying Holtz a first +1 for just Timo. Not even because he was saying Timo in a third or something like that. Just Timo. So I think these guys who are writing for the Devils, essentially, they see Timo's value even higher than Noah Claxton, a fan of the Sharks, see it. So I don't know, Aaron. Do you think that the New Jersey Devils could be a good trade destination? I know they got Nico Hischier, right? Fellow countryman. They played together and when representing their country. And I mean, they seem to like each other. When you hear about the things that Meier was saying about Hischier and back and forth, it's just complimenting the heck out of each other.
Yeah, this is actually, there's a great article from Frank Saravelli, who's an excellent writer. And he's one of the guys that when he talks about stuff you listen to, he knows about things around the league, and he broke down for Timo Meier a trade. I think the Rangers would be a better fit, and I don't know if fit is the right word, but a better trade partner because where did Mike Grier come from before this? He was working for Chris Drury at New York. It's not like he doesn't know these people. It's his former teammate. He's very, very close to New York, so I wouldn't be surprised if New York would be more of the front runner than New Jersey. Jersey would be a great fit as well because of the Swiss connection. Nico Hischier and Meier together would be awesome. And I think the return I would be happy with that return if that were to happen. And Noah Claxton even said it right here. I think he said, I think we should move Timo and accelerate this rebuild. Devils are highly linked, really need a winger help. And Holtz and Eklund have great chemistry on Team Sweden. You know, we love the Swedes. Absolutely. And Holtz was I was looking this up, a 7th overall pick in 2020. It's the draft where the Sharks had traded their draft pick to Karlsson. And they got Tim, I never say this right. Stutzla. He's German. He's not going to work here anymore.
Where's Dan Rusanowski when you need him?
Oh, I can't lie. It was, a lot last.
Anyway, this draft was pretty stacked. And in that draft, and this is who I would want, is Alex Lafreniere of the New York Rangers. If they could send Timo to the Rangers for Lafreniere, a first round, which would be a later first round pick, and maybe a second, I don't know, something along those lines, I would be happy with that as well. Lafreniere, former first overall pick. So imagine the Sharks get that, a first round pick with it for Timo, and they somehow win the lottery. They would turn this around real quick. Lafreniere is kind of, people are going to call him a bust already because he's not lighting up the league, but he's a bigger guy. He's taking a little bit longer to get going. I wouldn't be surprised. He's similar to Nathan McKinnon, who didn't storm out the gates. He was good, but not like, superstar that he is now. It took him a little while to get there. That's kind of where this guy's at. I wouldn't be unhappy about that trade.
So, PJ48 said Holtz is kind of small. And I agree, but I think the NHL nowadays lends itself better to smaller, faster, higher skilled players than even just like a decade ago, right? There's a lot less of the gigantic, big, bruising defenseman that will just crush you, right? There's a lot less of that. So, I mean, Ryan Reeves is one of the last remnants of that type of player, right? So,
but I could see Lafreniere is 6'2".
Sure,
he's a big dude.
Yeah,
right. It's more for me. It would be more of he'd be able to handle the grind more of 82 games than Holtz, he's 6 foot, about 180. But think about these guys would be playing with Eklund, who's already small.
Yes,
and Bordeleau, who's not big. Putting those three together on a line, if you have size, one of them has size, Lafreniere, to get their body around there, I think it would be a better fit than it would be to have three small guys on the team, three small young guys.
I think the best fit of all is chemistry. And if Holtz and Eklund have really good chemistry, I'll take it.
What if they don't?
They played on Team Sweden together.
They
had great chemistry. That's what he just said. They had great chemistry on Team Sweden. Noah Klassen's an expert on Team Sweden, so I'm going with that.
Right.
All right. So moving on from that one, let's go ahead and should we do a roll call here?
Sure.
Let's do a roll call. Obviously, where are you watching us from? And then what should the Sharks do with Timo? What do you guys think that they should do with him? Should they extend him? Should they just go ahead and make a trade? And if so, between at least the Devils and the Rangers, who do you feel maybe has the better fit, the better assets going back and forth? Just kind of let us know what you think right there. Be really interested to see what you guys have to say. While you guys are typing that, I do want to get onto the last player card here, and I don't want to give any more of them away, obviously, because again, this is a pay thing. But there is a special player here, okay? A very special player. Aaron, you know who I'm about to bring up, right?
Is it Ryan with Shmoa Mager?
Wow.
Oh.
Wow. It does. Noah Gregor. How did you know? See, folks, what you don't see is in our little notes here, I have Matt Benning down. I asked your producer Jason to do Noah Gregor one of these just so I could throw it in his face.
Yeah, I knew it. The guy hasn't played enough games to really get a good read.
Oh,
I
think he has. I think he has. Come on, Aaron. Salary, $1 million salary. His market value says league minimum, but the surplus value is negative 1.4 million.
He had a 2-point game streak.
He did.
2-game
and I'm
point
happy
streak
for him. Again, y'all think I hate the guy. I don't hate the guy. I'm happy for him. But let's take a look at what his projected goals are in this slide. 9. What'd I say? What'd I say, Aaron?
Under 10?
He's a not 10 goal scorer, and that's okay. And I hope he gets to 10. I hope he gets to 15. But he's not. He's a 9 goal scorer. He's a 20-point guy. I'll take it. But I don't know, to think that he's going to be any more than that, I just don't see it. He's got speed. He's got no finish. Sorry. And you know what? Honestly, I would love to see this guy get the Barclay Goodrow treatment. Go get traded. Go to a really good team. Grind away on that fourth line. Give them that speed that they're looking for. Make it hard for other teams to play against you, right? And get 2 cups out of it. Good for you. I would be more than happy for Noah Gregor to go and do exactly what Barclay Goodrow did. It's just ain't going to happen on this team.
He's got 3 points in his last 6 games. That's not bad.
I'm super happy for him. Super duper.
Oh my God. I hope he gets a hat trick in the next game. It's going to be like, ha!
Yeah, just like last season, right?
Yeah. He almost got that hat trick at the end.
Yeah, he almost did. Oh, yeah. Almost counts in what?
Close.
Horseshoes and hand grenades, right? Yeah.
Was it the last game of the season? He had
it was.
I think it was the last game. And I think he had, did he have another one that they called back?
I don't remember that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It was close.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Aaron, in the chat here, did you see anything that stood out to you? I see ask for a first and a top power forward prospect more if you have to take a bad contract back or eat salary. Yeah, of course, absolutely. Was there anything in here, Aaron, that you saw that maybe stood out in terms of what we were talking about with Timo?
Oh, Patron 40 Silver, that's a new one to me, but he's a Bruins fan since the early 80s. Welcome to the show. Matt Lowe, we were talking earlier, definitely trade him. Your Rangers and Devils are front runners, but would not rule out teams like Carolina or Seattle. Seattle would be an interesting one, but that's within the division. I don't know. I wouldn't want to see Timo, 5 times a year?
This one's interesting.
Trade for Zibanejad and a first rounder. No, I can't see that happening because they already have Coach. He's a center. They have Couture and Hurdle. So I don't think that would happen. I think we should trade tomorrow. I love him so much, but it's best for both sides. He can win and get this rebuild moving. Yeah, I don't think it would happen tomorrow. I think it would be closer to the deadline.
Well,
a couple more weeks.
He put the little asterisk. He meant Timo.
Oh,
I think you probably meant Timo Meier, and it got corrected to tomorrow. That's excellent. Oh my goodness. All right, I think we're good there. But you know what? We don't have the player card here, but since I brought the name up because I was trying to trick you and it didn't work, I am going to say it. Matt Benning's salary, $1.3 million. His market value, according to the player cards, $3.8 million. That's a surplus of 2.5.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Matt Benning get flipped here.
Hey, he deserves it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Again,
people say what you want about the guy, but he gave my kid 2 sticks. So
another guy that I think fans like to dump on because he happens to be on the ice a lot when they score goals, but $1.25 million for the next 4 seasons. I remember when he signed, I thought that was bizarre that he signed for 4 years. I didn't get that. Now I get it. Now Mike Greer kind of looks like a genius, especially if he can keep that value throughout the 4 years. Absolutely might get moved. Maybe not this season, maybe next one, because people will see the value and there's consistency. They're going to want that. It's very hard to get it. He's basically a top 4 defenseman for $1.25 million.
Right? I'm happy with the guy's play. Could it be better? Sure, why not? But I mean, again, according to the player cards, which say what you want about the weight of those things, but they're essentially saying he's worth 3 times the amount that he's being paid. So Paul wants us to build a Matt Benning statue outside SAP Center. Not true.
Just a stick statue.
Just the sticks, yeah. 2 sticks. However, Nicholas Egan, this might be true. Paul might drive Gregor to the airport himself if a trade does happen. Hey, I'd be more than happy to facilitate in any which way that I possibly can. If you all need me to cart him to the airport, I will happily do that. No malicious intent, just trying to be helpful. Again, I hope the guy does really well if he gets traded wherever he goes. Absolutely. I'm just saying it ain't happening here in San Jose.
We just stunk.
PJ 48. Gregor's a player a team might take a chance on the deadline. Just look at some of his games with Bordelot and Balsters at the end of last season. Speed, take a 4th or a 5th for him. I'd be happy with that. To get a draft pick from him. Would you?
Read that one more time.
PJ 48. It's on the screen. Would you take a 4th or a 5th from him?
For Gregor?
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah?
I'm sorry, a 4th in a heartbeat, a 5th. It would maybe like a boom, boom, and then, yeah. So, there you go.
All right.
Again, nothing ill will against the guy, but if you're telling me you're going to give me a 4th or a 5th for a 4th line guy who has been a healthy scratch and is not going to get to 10 goals and has not gotten to 10 goals, yeah, I'm going to take that pick. I'm going to do the Joe Will special, too. I'll trade that 5th for 2 7ths.
He was drafted in the 4th round in 2016.
Boom, there you go. Equal value, baby.
No harm, no foul,
Again. Look, not many people that get drafted in the 4th round are going to make it to the show, okay? He did that. Congrats. Awesome. Good for him. Love it. It's an accomplishment. He deserves that respect, 100%. They give me a 4th, I'm sorry, but you're out the door, dude. And it has nothing to do with you being a bad player or anything like that. It's just we tried, it didn't work out, and we're gonna get a new guy in here and give it a go.
We just stunk.
Also, we're gonna see, I think, a lot of players get moved out over time here because of the new regime, and they want their own guys in.
No, I agree with that. And I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen the type of player that Mike Grier wants, and frankly, Noah Gregor is that type of player. He just needs to finish. If he could finish, he wouldn't be going anywhere. And Mike Grier would want him, I'm sure. And maybe he still does want him. I don't know. Maybe they figure, okay, we'll give him another year and we can kind of get him to that point. Because again, he plays the way Grier wants him to play, I'm sure, right? But anyway, moving on from Noah Gregor and the amazing and highly valuable Matt Benning, we're going to go talk about Nikolai Knyzhov, another defenseman. He is on long-term injury conditioning loan to the Barracuda. So this, per the CBA, can only last at most 2 weeks. So, Aaron, it seems like Knyzhov might be ready to go in just a couple of weeks here.
Ready to go, sure. I don't know. I would want him because he hasn't played in 2 years. It's been a while. So the speed is what's going to kill him.
Yep.
A guy that I liked. I remember he was playing with Karlsson for a while, right? And he was looking pretty good. So I would love to see him get back to where he was at. I feel bad for him. I feel like he's been through the ringer so much. I mean, he had a surgery, then he got infected, and I think he had another couple surgeries. It's just been one after another after another. He's only 24, but he lost out on 2 years of development right there. That just sucks, man. So kudos to him for sticking with it and being able to play and hopefully be back in the NHL very soon. 2 weeks? I would welcome him with open arms.
You would open him with welcoming arms. Wow. It's late night on the Fin Factor here, folks.
We just stunk.
Well done. I will say this. I believe that he'll be back within that 2 week period. Number one, because I mean, why else would you have him go to the Barracuda to have like a 2 week stint and then he's still not ready because he's working on something else with some injuries, still kind of getting over, and have him sit around and do nothing, right? So I think it makes sense that he's to a point now where he feels physically back and ready to go, and he's just getting himself up to game speed by doing that 2 week stint with the Barracuda, and then he'll be right back. I feel like otherwise it just wouldn't make sense to give him 2 weeks with the Barracuda and then nothing, right? You just, he's not ready yet. He's still having it. No, I think they'll have that sorted out before they have him come off the long-term injury. So there's that. The other thing I want to say is I'm also confident that he'll be back because he's been training a lot with Kathy from Kathy's Power Skating Extra Hour. She is one of the best in the business. She works with kids, beer leaguers like me, although I haven't visited with her, but and pros alike. This is who Kevin LeBanc went to when he was having some trouble with his skating and his strides and everything else. And she did wonders for him as well. So I am absolutely 100% confident that he'll come back, and his skating at least should look pretty good. And we were just talking about, speed of the game and everything. I think his legs will be able to keep up. Maybe his mind might be a little bit slow at first, just kind of catch up. But I feel like physically he'll be right there.
More of that than when I say speed, I don't mean like actual foot speed.
Yeah.
More of thinking speed.
Yes.
The thinking speed is just not there. And then the connecting your thinking to acting with your body, right? Like you're mentally doing what your mind wants it to do. Sometimes it's hard for it to get back to that speed, that level. So that's always like the slower part. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm hoping that he does good things. The Barracuda gets back up to somewhat of a speed and then is able to join the NHL. Probably will join back with the Sharks and be maybe a healthy scratch for a little while so he can get more practices in with them and then crack at the lineup.
I want to say one thing here real quick because normally I say this like one time in an episode. And actually for this, I don't even say it really anymore at all. But Patron 40 Silver in the chat says, pound the like with a thumbs up there. Hey, man, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm assuming you did that. You all want to be as cool as this guy here, Patron 40 Silver. Hit that like button as well. We do appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. And again, if you guys can hit us with the share or the retweet, get us out there. Do appreciate that. It does help and support the show. So again, thank you so much for that reminder, Patron. Do appreciate it. Okay. The 2023 all-star jerseys. They were put out there into the Twitter sphere, the Twitterverse, if you will. And Aaron, these ones, now we looked these up. This is the same jersey from 94 through, what was it, 96 or 7?
97.
For the All-Stars, right? Yeah. So this was what they used in, the old style jerseys, right? They've updated them a little bit, obviously. And we've got the graphics here for the East. There it is.
Yep.
Really, when I see this, honestly, it throws me right back to EA Sports NHL 94.
I was just gonna ask you, does this look like EA Sports? Like, it looks like the EA SHL kind of.
Oh my god, yeah. And you know, when you play, there's a certain mode. I forget what it was like. I think it was just like Chell mode or whatever. There's the Western ones there, with the white and the nice kind of like light blue. When you look at or when you play NHL like 21 or 22 or whatever it was at the time, they had these types of jerseys because it was that throwback to NHL 94, right? So seeing those, like, it was just like, oh wait, that's nothing new. I've seen that before, right? So it just kind of came straight to mind just because of the game. Anyway, what did you think about these jerseys? Is this something that you're thinking about picking up? I suspect probably not, but
I don't really pick up all-star jerseys. I'm not like a jersey collector or anything, but I do like them. I think they stand out and look pretty sharp. Maybe it's the nostalgia because I right away was like, ooh, I like what they're doing here. And it's the game itself is in Florida. So they went with the Florida, Miami, neon 80s, 90s theme.
Miami Vice.
I think they nailed it. I think they did a great job. What?
Miami Vice.
Yeah, Miami Vice. Absolutely. It looks sharp. It looks clean. And the kids are into these colors these days again. They're recycling all of our old stuff. Pretty soon the Hammer Pants will be coming out.
Funny you should bring that up. Quick story. I had a roller men's league game, but I forgot my roller pants. So I had to ask one of the guys that works there if I could borrow his. And he's taller than me, but not by that much. For some reason, the roller pants he gave me were literal Hammer Pants. They were humongous. I pulled them up to like, I want to say like just below my rib cage, like right at my rib cage. Like they were like huge. I had to tuck them in and everything. Yeah, it was hilarious. I was skating, and they were like purple on like streaks down the side. I'm like, dude, really?
Was it like wearing a parachute and slow you down?
It was like wearing a pair. When I was skating, like my leg, they were going. So
get on with it.
Yes, get on with it.
Yes, get on with it.
I'm just saying. We were talking about Hammer Pants. When do I get the opportunity to talk about Hammer Pants on this show? Regardless, upcoming games, let's talk about them. We got Tuesday in Detroit, Friday in Carolina, Saturday in Pittsburgh. Aaron, obviously, we are in the Bedard sweepstakes, and we know what we'd like the Sharks to do for all three of these games. What is the possibility that we come out of this with nothing?
We just stunk.
Probability is high. But we did see them beat Dallas. So going into Detroit's tough. They do have a different arena than the Sharks were playing in. It's no longer Joe Louis Arena, but now it's what, Little Caesars Arena, something like that. Detroit's always hard to play in for the Sharks for some reason. It's mentally. But I could see them winning one of these three games. I feel like the Sharks are winning one every 3 games. So one of these games they're going to win. I would wager on, since they get smoked in Boston, I think the coach's message is going to come through and they're going to tighten up everything. And that first game, just like against Dallas, it's going to be better. And I bet they beat Detroit. Then they go in. So it's a Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. So another back-to-back, right?
Yeah.
Such a weird schedule, but the NHL. Carolina likes to play on those off days. They like to play on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sundays. So it makes sense that they're playing on Friday in Carolina. Carolina's a tough team. They're at the top. They're one of the best teams in the East. They're actually the second best team in the league and the East because Boston's so good. But they are a very good team. Speaking of teams that could beat Boston, I could see Carolina being one of them. That one's going to be hard. And then following it up back-to-back in Pittsburgh, not much easier. Pittsburgh's kind of an older team on their way out of being like their kind of window of winning yet more cups with Crosby and Malkin. but they're still going to be good. So, and it's a back-to-back. So kind of a scheduled loss there, right?
Yeah.
That one's going to be tough. But I would say one of these three, and if you're a betting man, it would be Detroit. But that means they'll probably beat Carolina, lose to Detroit, and somehow come up with a win in Pittsburgh after that.
Yeah. I think the interesting one for me on this one is going to be the Carolina game. You know why?
Because of Brent Burns.
Yeah, the Burns-Karlsson duel head-to-head. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
That'll be the story, too. They'll pump that up, right?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it'll be fun to see them kind of go dueling, because you might see it in a practice, right? Like years ago, where the two of them were kind of going head-to-head like that. But for the most part, they were on one power play unit or the other, or on the same power play unit, and they never really did like a 5-on-5 like directly against each other. So it'll be really interesting to see the two of them going head to head here. I don't know. Do you feel like maybe Burns has something to prove here, or maybe Karlsson has something to prove here?
Not really. I don't think they'd see it like that. I think they're more looking at the standings, and Carolina says we need more wins. We need to win. They're not going to care about individual stuff. Karlsson will just be like, I need to do my thing to make everyone want me more. So I'll just put up points.
I feel like they're going to take it a little personal. I think they're going to both have a little something to prove to each other on that night.
All right.
I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, looking at Noah Claxton here, he says he's hoping for no points, but probably going to go 1-1-1. He probably shares the same thoughts as you, where Detroit getting the win, Pittsburgh probably getting the loss, and then maybe Carolina or maybe tying Pittsburgh. Who knows? But it's weird. It kind of sucks, like sitting here thinking, like, gosh, I hope the Sharks lose, but that's what's best for the team right now. We're not going to be a playoff team, so you may as well get the best draft pick that you possibly can. And seeing Ben and Guthrie agrees, take the L's, he says. So, Noah says the W will come against Carolina. Watch.
Probably.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, what do you say, Aaron? Are we all done and wrapped up here?
I think so.
Very good. Okay. Hey, guys, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Do appreciate all the comments. It's so much fun doing this live with you guys. I'm kind of sad when we get to studio, actually, because we're probably only going to be doing very short lives pre-show, and then we'll do recorded again. But, this will be fun. But I do enjoy doing this. Again, thank you guys so much. We enjoy doing this show, but really having the guys in the chat here is kind of what makes this thing tick. So at least this version of it. So thank you so much for that. Again, if you guys would like to support the show, you can do that several ways. Again, without any money involved whatsoever. You can do that by hitting the share button, the retweet button. You can give us a like. Let everybody know about us. Appreciate that very much. It does help the show, help get us out there, get our name out there. If you'd like to do that monetarily, you can do that with either the super chat function or, as producer Jason put right down here, you can tip us on Venmo at the Fin Factor. Again, anything you write in there, we'll go ahead and say it on the air, either live at the time, or we can go back and pick it up for the next show. Also, thefinfactor.com, as he just took away from the ball screen, you can head over there, pick up, again, hats.
We just stunk.
This stunk, yeah. So we can pick up, dude. I was like crying about 5 minutes ago when he did the last. So go there and you can get all the merchandise that we do offer. It does, again, help the show. So again, appreciate you guys' support. Awesome stuff. Any last words, Aaron? You good?
I'm good.
Awesome. For super producer Jason and coach David Quinn, I'm Paul.
I'm Aaron.
And we will see you guys
next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive merchandise to help support our show.